Okay. Time for another 12-hour podcast. Welcome to the 12-hour podcast, Amit.
Welcome, Adam, and welcome everyone not watching this.
That's right. That's right. If you're watching this, as usual, we will describe the policy of the 12-hour podcast. If you're watching this, well, you shouldn't be. You should be doing something different. Do something. What's that? Say that again.
The unusual policy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the unusual policy compared to all the other policies that are up there on YouTube. We're trying to set ourselves apart. Every other YouTube channel is telling you to watch all their videos and subscribe to their channel and like their videos and comment and all that kind of stuff to get more attention on their content. But we're not doing any of that, nor are we making sure that our content is of high quality. We bring you the lowest quality content here on YouTube, and we're proud of it.
And if you find it relevant, it's just by chance.
Just luck. Really, really luck. And maybe you should just like double check with yourself to, think whether, like, you should wonder, spend a little more time to determine whether or not it's actually relevant. Don't necessarily go by your instincts, because you might be. I think you'd be fooled. You'd be fooled if you thought that this is relevant to you. Anything that we talk about, because it's probably not. It's probably not relevant to anybody. But here we are talking about who knows what. I never know what we're talking about. I know you never know what we're going to talk about, and I guess that's kind of the plan, at least for now.
Yeah. One thing that I did have in mind was we can probably, officially make our podcast day as Tuesday, because last 3-4 Tuesdays we have been doing this instead of Saturdays. What do you think?
Yeah, Monday night, Tuesday morning for you. That works perfectly fine for me. I'm cool with that. Let's do it for now until we decide to change it again.
Yeah, for what do we say? Foreseeable future.
For the foreseeable future. That's right. Yeah, that's correct. So
Saturday, there is something. It's the weekend, so you never know what plans come up.
That's true. That's true. And for the last bunch of Saturdays, I've been playing, let's say it's easy to argue that I've been playing way too much Daisy with my online friends.
Daisy. Oh, yeah. That zombie game.
The zombie game. That's right. Yeah. The zombie survival game. I've been definitely playing way too much of it. But I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it anyways because I'm enjoying myself.
What I've been playing too much of, I've been playing chess.
Have you?
Yeah. For the last 1 or 2 weeks, I've been playing daily few games, like 5-6 games a day.
Wow. Okay. Let me know when you're ready for a rematch.
We can do it. I don't think we will be able to do it right now because I'm using the phone for this podcast, so I won't be able to play chess. But yeah, we can play it offline.
Yeah,
without streaming.
We could do that. We could play it offline, or we could try to figure out a time where we could play it during one of our scheduled podcasts. I'm cool with that as well. Whatever you want. Yeah, or we could do both.
Yeah. It can be played on laptop, right?
For sure. Yeah, you can play it on your phone too. Didn't you play it on your phone last time?
Yeah, but I was streaming through laptop then.
Oh, right. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, but you can play it on any device. Any device. Yeah.
Next time we'll do that.
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
At
Yeah. How's it going with your family this week? Were you able to figure out anything? Is it just the same old, same old? Did you decide what you want to do, whether you're going to accept things or try to come up with a another approach, or
Yeah, I kind of decided that I'm gonna ignore things. That's much better for my sanity and for my peace of mind. Peace.
yeah, nice. Okay, very good. Oh, I should say, and very appropriate that you chose this color red, because today is Canada Day. So happy Canada Day.
Another good luck.
Yeah, yeah, Canada Day today. So, not that you have to wear red. It just red and white are the colors of the Canadian flag. So red is a common color that people might wear on Canada Day. But anyways, so I don't
What
know what
happened?
Canada Day is about. So don't ask me. I have no idea.
Too late.
We
But
should.
how are we supposed to celebrate it?
People usually there'll be fireworks. People might get together with their families and friends, have some drinks, but it's typically a long weekend. So those who have jobs, uh, they would get an extra day off of work today, and then they would get probably paid a little extra for the day off, yeah, if they typically would work.
Right. So sounds like Independence Day. Yes.
Uh, America has their Fourth of July celebration, so it's similar to that. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Does India have anything like that? Do they have a celebration like that? I mean, they have
Yeah,
lots of
India.
celebrations.
Yeah, but these formal celebrations, as you can see, these are 15th of August, which is the Independence Day, and 26th of January, which is the Republic Day.
Okay, got it.
Uh, but we are not supposed to drink on these days. It's like officially a liquor ban on these days. It's called a dry day.
Right,
I
but
mean,
a lot of I think like it isn't a big part of the culture there to drink alcohol, is it?
it is like
Yeah.
uh, at least in the uh, actually not even in the cities all over India actually. Yeah, it is a big part of the culture.
Okay.
Uh, People look for opportunities to party and drink alcohol. For example, last Saturday it was World Cup final. India won, by the way,
India
so it was
won.
a huge celebration. Yeah,
Amazing, amazing. I heard that the U.S. beat India.
US beat
Oh, it
Pakistan.
was Pakistan. That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So US played really well. Afghanistan played really well. They were in the semifinals. So every World Cup there is one small team that advances, and this time it was US and Afghanistan.
Cool. Okay. But India won the whole thing,
Yeah,
which is
and they,
not really much of a surprise, right?
yeah, not really a surprise because India has been a dominant team for over a decade now. But it is a very, relief sort of a thing because India hasn't won a big cup in 13 years.
Mm.
The World Cup, India hasn't won in 13 years, despite being so dominant and such a strong team.
Oh wow, it's been a long time.
Yeah, so they reach the finals and they lose. It has happened three times in the last decade. So
Mm. Who
that's when
won the last three World Cups?
West Indies. Actually, it wasn't three World Cups. There were plenty. Three times India was in the final.
Right. So who beat them the last three times?
One was Australia, one was Sri Lanka, and I guess third was West Indies.
Okay. Okay. What happened to those teams this World Cup? Did they have strong teams or not really?
Yeah, it's funny that you asked because this time the performance of all three teams was very bad.
Hmm. How does that
They didn't
happen?
even,
That seems
how does
surprising.
that?
Yeah. Do they have like new coach? Do they have a very different players on their team or?
Of course, the players change every few years. That is a factor. But the other thing is, if you remember, I said this is a shorter format, T20.
Mhm.
There are a lot more chances of, you know, luck factor,
Okay.
you can say, or you just have to play good for a very short amount of time. You have to
Okay.
just play 20 overs. So that is possible for small teams as well.
Okay.
And that is how sometimes these upsets come along.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. I still have a lot more to learn about cricket.
Yeah. But if you talk about the previous World Cup, that was last year, that was 50 over World Cup. So that's a fairly longer version.
Right.
So in the smaller teams cannot necessarily beat the bigger teams
Okay.
because they have to be consistently good for 50 overs. In fact, 100 overs because for 50 overs they have to bat and for 50 overs they have to bowl.
What's an over?
One over is six deliveries.
What's a delivery?
The ball is thrown towards the batsman. That is one delivery.
Okay. I told you I don't know anything, man. I know literally nothing.
Yeah, it's okay. You've never seen a match, so it's understandable.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've seen like bits and pieces of matches by like not necessarily watching the matches themselves, like watching maybe people play or seeing something on TV briefly or maybe in a movie or whatnot. But I know extremely little. So a delivery is when somebody throws the ball to the batsman. And then what's an over again?
Six deliveries is one over.
Six deliveries. So within six deliveries, you have to score, I guess, as many points as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 And that's considered to be an over. And
Okay.
how many overs are there in a match?
So the shorter match, there are 20 overs per side.
Okay.
And if the longer version, there are 50 overs per side.
Got it.
And if it's the longest version, the test match, then you have what? Over, I think more than 200 overs per
Wow.
side
Wow.
because that goes on for 5 days.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's insane. So it's not a matter of how long the game is not really timed per se. It's more about the amount of overs.
It is timed. If the team is not bowling their 50 overs in the limited time, they are penalized once. They are penalized
Oh,
a fine.
okay. So you got to get the 20 overs done within the time limit, and then which makes the game move quicker.
Right. So 100 minutes is the time limit for
Okay.
20 overs. So 5 minutes per over.
And each side goes through 20 overs in total, like so like you go through 20 overs and then you switch the other side. Does the other 20 overs?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. And you said 20 overs is six deliveries?
No, that's 120 deliveries.
Like one, sorry, yeah, one over is six deliveries. That's what I meant.
Yeah. So
So
20 delivery
is
overs is one.
is 120. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Wow. That's a lot of that's a lot. All right. So then the team that's on the offense is the one that's batting. Obviously, the one that's on the defense is delivering.
Right.
Okay, makes sense. So there's like a mixture of baseball in this to some degree. Maybe a few sports, or maybe a few sports are kind of derived from this sport.
It's possible, but the closest one is baseball, of course.
Interesting.
Baseball, four bases, but there are a lot of like just the only common thing that we can see in baseball and cricket is a bat and a ball, I guess.
And the ball
Everything
is
else,
thrown, and yeah,
yeah, but the way of throwing the ball is completely different.
right,
In
right.
baseball, the pitcher has to stay on the mound, whereas in cricket, the bowler has to run a distance and throw overarm. They are not never allowed to literally throw the ball. They have to push it overarm,
Hmm.
use the strength of their chest and back and shoulders.
Interesting.
So the biomechanics are very different.
Hmm. So you have to use a certain technique to throw the ball, or else it's illegal.
Oh yeah, you definitely have to follow a lot of techniques,
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
not just
Interesting.
for, not for the rules, but also for know making sure that you're not getting injured.
Okay. Interesting. Um, so changing the subject a little bit, I'm curious to know: did you succeed with the weekly challenge?
Sadly, no. Again,
Unreal.
this time I tried different strategies, and for 2 days I could do 100. For 3 days I did around 60, and rest 2 days I did nothing. So that's
Sorry, you said three
like
days you did 100, 2 days you did 60, and then two
did
days you did
100.
nothing.
2 days 100,
Okay.
and 3 days around 60.
Okay, that's the way around. And then 2 days nothing. Okay, it's better than last week, I think, right?
Yeah, it's better definitely
Okay. All right. So we'll give it another week.
for sure.
Yeah, give it another week. And my weekly challenge, my weekly meditation challenge. Um, so I found it. Uh, I didn't find myself motivated to do meditations that were not guided. I do much rather the guided meditations, and I'll do like a number of them. Like sometimes it'll be kind of like a almost like a story that's being told, and I'm kind of just following along with the story. And then some meditations are actual like more mindful, more mindfulness meditation where you're like focusing on different parts of your body and this thing. Um, so it's a little bit of it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. But I find it. I don't find it motivating to do the meditations just if it's just like sound, and I just have to kind of calm my mind or and not get distracted. Um, so I could try that again. I could try that again because I know that that really was the goal, right?
Yeah, and if I may ask, what do you feel you can do while you are doing the meditation without any guidance or sounds?
If it's no guidance, no sound, nothing, just nothingness.
Yeah, so what strategy could you use that would
Oh,
make it possible?
if it's just nothing, I'll probably fall asleep. Like I'll literally fall asleep. Um, maybe not every time, but I think a lot of times. Um, and I don't know, like is that okay, or is the goal not to allow myself to fall asleep, but just to clear my mind?
I guess if people are doing it for a longer duration and they are tired, it's more likely that they will fall asleep. But if someone is doing a timed meditation, like let's say they have set an alarm for 7 minutes and they are completely in that meditative zone, they know that it's not long enough and they probably won't fall asleep. This is what has been my experience.
Okay. So I should set a timer maybe.
Maybe start with 5, 6, 7, whatever feels comfortable.
Okay, I could do that. What's the goal though for how long a meditation should be?
There is a Chinese proverb that I guess it says if you if you have time, do it for 10 minutes a day. If you do not have time, do it 30 minutes a day.
Right.
So yeah, it's actually there is no rule as such, because the concept of time is very subjective, at least when it comes to meditation. So yeah, choose whatever time you feel comfortable. I guess the first one that you do should be just a trial to see how it feels, how long you can sustain without moving around. I guess that the first few times could be trial, and then you can start getting towards that bigger goal.
Okay. We could do 10 minutes. I'll try that.
Yeah, and you can look up some postures that you can follow during the meditation, because there are a lot of hand postures, hand gestures. They are suited for different goals. For example, if you want to increase your focus, you're supposed to hold your hands like this.
Hmm.
And if you're supposed to increase the thinking capacity, you should be holding your hands like this. So there are, many different hand postures that they come from Hindu scriptures, Vedic scriptures. I
Okay.
don't know how valid they are, but uh, something to implement while you're meditating.
So the hand gestures are supposed to help with us with getting our mind to kind of directing your mind in a particular way.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And these are called mudras.
They're called what?
Mudras.
R
Mudra.
A S. Madras. Madras.
Mud.
Oh, mood. Is it mood? Okay, mudras.
Yeah. We can maybe look it up and you'll see a few images too.
Let's do it. Let's look up mudras. You said that's what they're called, right? Images of mudras. Okay. Yeah, there's a bunch of images. Let's share the screen for you so you can actually see what I'm looking at, because that's only fair. Here we go. All right, can you see that?
Yeah, I can see tiny images.
Yeah, let's blow one of these up. I think this is this one, maybe these ones. Let's look at these ones. Or maybe these ones. Yeah, these are the ones you were talking about. Let's go and visit this page so that way we can really see what's what. Here they are. Do you know all of these?
No, but we can easily find them online. There are many apps for these in Google Image.
Hmm. I mean, these are for
Yeah,
sleep.
okay, all of these are for sleep.
So there's so many. If these are just for sleep, then there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, there is a different one for a different task, different goal.
I wonder who decided on these. Like where these came from.
As I, s- These are from Vedic scriptures. These are written by monks who meditated for years and years in the jungles, and they came up with these visions, and they wrote all those visions and knowledge collectively, and these are what is called Vedas.
Interesting. There's like part of me that can't help but be skeptical. It's like, so if you don't do these specific mudras and you want to achieve a certain type of meditation, or you want to direct your mind in a particular way, the mudras are suggesting that there's no possible way to direct your mind, or it's going to be harder to direct your mind in the way that you intend to if you're not doing the mudra. Like, is that what this is suggesting?
No, no, that's not suggesting that at all.
Okay.
So here's the meditation. If you look it up, and it is scientific, if you look it up, you will see thousands of benefits of
Sure.
meditation.
Right. Yeah.
But if you want one benefit more than the other, then these mudras are said to help.
Is there like have there been a lot of scientific studies that have gone into like a large subset of people that do a specific mudra versus don't do it to and achieve certain, like, I guess they can see their brain activity, and then it shows that their brain activity is more heightened by doing a particular mudra versus not doing it, and they maybe don't tell they tell people who don't have any background in this whatsoever, who wouldn't know the difference, but to meditate and to do these mudras, and then they can see a direct correlation between what the intention is of, like, outcome wise, what you want to get from doing the mudra versus not.
All right. So yeah, I'm not sure if there is any scientific evidence. I haven't looked it up, but what I'll tell you is that I believe that these mudras can help because I also believe in acupressure.
Okay.
And if you believe in acupressure, it says that your hand reflects pressure points that are connected to different organs of your body.
Right.
So by pressing these points, we are actually activating the lymphatic system,
Okay.
and that activates a particular organ. So if, let's say, I have to regulate my sleep, then I have to press a certain point. And to press that certain point, I need to hold my hand in a certain way.
Right.
That becomes a mudra. Now we can look it up on ChatGPT and see if there
Yeah,
are
I want to see, because again, like, how did these folks that were coming up with these mudras, how would they know that they're activating a certain organ or a part of their body with certain points on their hand? Like, how would they be able to identify that?
Yeah, that's because, again, that this is what I understand from the scriptures.
Right.
These rishis, the monks, the sages who meditated for years, they became so aware of their bodies that anything that went on inside their body, they could sense it. They could sense the heartbeats. They could sense where if there is any blockage, where is it, and they could press on a nerve, and they could tell if the other person has any disease. They became so self-aware. They became like a sensing machine.
Okay. Interesting.
Deep meditation. And again, that is believable because uh, there are, meditation techniques that can slow down your heartbeats. Have you heard of them?
Sure. I know there are breathing techniques that can slow down your heartbeat, and many breathing techniques are used during meditation as well. So I can make sense of that.
Exactly. So if something that involuntary can be controlled to, they can even stop their heart with meditation, then imagine with proper focus how many organs can be, touched mentally, of course.
Maybe, maybe, maybe,
So
maybe.
it's beautiful actually. It's when you come to think of it, the way our mind and body is connected, it's really beautiful.
For sure. This is interesting. Let's look this up. I want to see if we can find out more about this. So let's search. Let's ask our best friend, our the third member of our podcast, ChatGPT. Maybe the fourth. Well, I would say ChatGPT is the third member, and then Google is the fourth member. But let's ask: Are or maybe have there been any scientific studies looking into the benefits of using mudras, and if there is a direct correlation, if I could spell correlation, two R's, yeah, a direct correlation between the use of mudras and
And validity.
what's that?
And its validity.
Yeah, the use of mudras. Well, I was going to say the use of mudras and the ability to control your organs, or the ability to control the way your brain.
Or
What's that?
body functions.
Yeah, your body functions. Use of mudras and the way the body functions. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Functions. Okay, here we go. Let's see what Schmat Shmeeby Shmee says. Okay, so it's going into like what mudras are, but we already discussed that, so we don't need to go into that again. So it's going into scientific studies and findings. That's what we're interested in learning more about. So stress reduction and relaxation. Okay, sure. All right. Some studies suggest that certain mudras can help reduce stress and induce relaxation. For example, a study published in the International Journal of Yoga found that practicing pran mudra along with other yoga practices helped reduce stress levels in participants. The practice of mudras is often combined with controlled breathing and meditation, which are known to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, leading to relaxation and reduced stress. Well, sure. I mean, if you're doing that with combining like, breathing techniques, absolutely. But I wonder if like the mudra on its own, like using the mudra versus not using the mudra, same breathing techniques, no breathing technique, like doing a proper, like that, to me, that's like a really proper in-depth scientific study, right?
Yeah.
Impact on the nervous system. Research has shown that certain mudras can influence the automatic nervous system. For example, the Gyan mudra, touching the tip of the index finger to the tip of the thumb, is believed to promote a sense of calm and mental clarity. A study in the Journal of Clinical and Diagnostic Research indicated that practicing mudras could have a positive impact on brain activities measured by EEG readings. Enhancement of cognitive functions. So there's some evidence that mudras can enhance cognitive functions such as concentration and memory. The Yoni mudra, for instance, is believed to improve mental focus and reduce anxiety. Okay, a study published in the Journal of Traditional and Complementary Medicine found that participants who practiced specific mudras showed improvements in cognitive performance and emotional stability. Okay. Physical health benefits. Mudras are sometimes used in conjunction with yoga to address specific health issues. For instance, Apan mudra, I don't know if I'm saying this properly, or Apan mudra, touching the tips of the middle and ring fingers to the tip of the thumb is believed to help with detoxification and improve digestion. A pilot study in the International Journal of Yoga reported that the regular practice of certain mudras, along with other yoga practices, could improve symptoms in individuals with chronic health conditions such as diabetes and hypertension. Okay. All right. Then it goes into acupressure points, what you were talking about. Energy flow, which is known as prana. I think I'm saying that correctly. And it goes into psychological and behavioral mechanisms. Okay, so it looks like there's some studies, but the language around it doesn't seem to be clear enough to me. I think we'd have to dig deeper into these studies to understand the nature of them, how they were conducted, how many people were involved, what were the percentage of people that saw an outcome that was based upon the hypothesis that actually got to the same outcome that the hypothesis of the study was considering versus people that didn't get to that outcome. What were the differences between those study groups? There's a whole bunch of things to look at.
Definitely. We can start with something like, is there a controlled study of meditating with and without mudra?
Okay, that's a good one. Let's do that. Have there been control studies done using and not using mudras
During meditation?
Okay, I already put, let's see if it just kind of assumes that. So I already pressed enter. But I could ask the question again with meditation, but let's see what it says. All right, so it says, yes, there have been some control studies done to evaluate the effectiveness of mudras. These studies typically involve comparing a group practicing mudra with a control group that does not to determine any differences in outcomes. Here are a few examples of such studies. So, didn't mean to do that. Okay, so study on stress reduction. So this study involved university students who were divided into two groups. One group practiced specific mudras along with deep breathing exercises, while the control group engaged in deep breathing exercises alone. The results showed that the group practicing mudras had a significant reduction in stress and anxiety levels compared to the control group. But what was the control group doing? Were they still meditating? Like, was it exactly the same? But just one group was doing a mudra where the other group was not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking they were given a recording maybe, because they are saying they are doing breathing exercises. So breathing exercise can be done by following a recording, an audio. And probably they were given the same audio, and one hall was filled with students that were doing it with mudra, and another hall was
Right. Yeah, I'm reading it again. Yeah, you're right. It does say one group practiced specific mudras along with deep breathing exercises, while the control group engaged in deep breathing exercises alone. Okay, and the results show that the group practicing mudras had a significant reduction in stress, and anxiety levels compared to the control group. Okay, this was published in the International Journal of Yoga. Okay. Study on cognitive function. So older adults were divided into a mudra group and a control group. The mudra group practiced in pran mudra for 15 minutes daily over 8 weeks, while the control group did not. What did they do exactly, though? It didn't say what they did. It just says they didn't do that. So if they were not doing any, it doesn't really specify.
Yeah, then it doesn't really compare the mudras. It is, I guess, only comparing meditation.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Okay, let's go to number 3, a study on physical health. So this study involved patients with type 2 diabetes who were randomly assigned to either a mudra group or a control group. The mudra group practiced the Apan mudra for 20 minutes daily for 12 weeks, while the control group received standard diabetes care without the mudra practice. Okay, but again, like, if they're doing this, they got to be doing the exact same meditation, just without the mudra. Because if you're taking out the meditation and the mudra, then you don't know which, or is it both items that matter, or is it just one item that matters, or it's not really a fair assessment, I don't think.
After these examples, maybe we can ask ChatGPT to clarify this. If the only mudras were different or the whole process was different.
Yeah, we'll have to go to like one of the, I guess we could ask overall. Let's look at number 4. Study on mental health. Women experiencing anxiety and depression were divided into a mudra group and a control group. The mudra group practiced the yoni mudra daily for 8 weeks, while the control group engaged in standard relaxation techniques. Okay, but again, like, are the techniques exactly the same? You're only taking out the mudra. If the relaxation techniques are different and there's no mudra, then again, you don't know what is the deciding factor there. Right?
Agreed.
Yeah, you agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So
need a contrast.
So let's ask more about this. This is a good little rabbit hole to get into. So what do you think the next question should be? Maybe
Can you clarify what were the similarities and differences in the control groups?
In each of these studies, yeah. Can you? That's a good question. The exact.
What is the control group?
What's that again?
What do we call the opposite of a control group?
I don't know.
So maybe we can call it the mudra group.
Yeah,
control group would be without mudra.
Yeah, because that's what they're calling it. They're calling the mudra. They're calling one group the mudra group and the other one the control group. So, can you clarify the exact differences between the mudra group and the control group?
Or maybe we can make it even more specific by saying something like, what were the instructions given to the control group and the mudra group?
What were the instructions provided to each group? What were the exact instructions?
In each of the studies.
In each study. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right, so it's, I don't like the way that started this. It said, let's delve into hypothetical details.
Oh.
I don't want the hypothetical details. I want the exact actual details of each of these studies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's tell ChatGPT that. I don't want the hypothetical details of these studies. I am looking for the exact, maybe it just doesn't have access to it. I'm looking for the exact details of these studies. If you do not have the ability to provide that information, please say so. Okay, how about that? All right. I currently do not have access to the exact details of specific studies, including the exact instructions provided to participants both the Mudra and control groups. To find precise information, it would be best to refer directly to the original published research articles in scientific journals. These articles typically include detailed methodology sections that describe the instructions and procedures used in the studies. If you're interested in specific studies, I recommend searching databases such as PubMed, Google Scholar, and so on. Okay, so it doesn't have that information. We'd have to actually look up the studies ourselves. I could, I don't know how easy it would be, but theoretically anyways, I imagine I could look up the study, copy all the information, give it to ChatGPT, and then ask it the questions.
Yeah, that's doable.
Yeah. I don't know how easy it would be to find those studies, though, but we could try. Because it gave me the name of them. Give me the name of the studies and everything.
Yeah. I guess they are stored in the PDF format, and that is why GPT cannot read that. If it were on a web page, then it would have easily got the data.
Yeah, maybe, but maybe not. Maybe it's kind of in a PDF, right?
I'm sorry.
Like maybe it's possible that this information like is downloadable. Like you have to download a PDF or something in order to see all that information.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That
Yeah.
if it is in PDF, then ChatGPT cannot directly read that.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Let's look up one. Let's see if we can find one of these. If we can't find one of these like relatively quickly, then we'll kind of leave this rabbit hole for the time being. And if we decide on our own time to look more into it, I guess we could. But let's just go to the first one. So actually, let's see which one interests me the most. So stress reduction, cognitive function, physical health. I think that one's interesting. The impact of Apan Mudra on blood glucose levels in type 2 diabetes patients. A randomized controlled trial. That was the name of it. And it was published in the International Journal of Yoga. Okay. Yeah, let's look up that one. That one seems interesting because that's like you can't just get rid of or reduce the symptoms or the signs of type 2 diabetes just typically without proper medical intervention, right? So International Journal of Yoga. That's what it's called, I think, right? Let's see. Just double check. Journal. Oh, no, here it is. International Journal of Yoga. Yeah. Okay. Let's do it.
And then we can type the name of the study. We can actually put everything in the Google and it will directly get us the link of the study.
Yeah, that's what I did. I put in the title of the study. I put the title of the study in and which publication it was from. And I'll see if I can find it.
The date or something that would make it easier to find.
Oh, that's a good point. But it doesn't have a date. Maybe I can ask. Maybe ChatGPT has that information. So let's give it the title again. When was this study published? Or when was the study, and I'll put in quotations, published? Let's see if it knows. It says analyzing. All right. It's just stuck on analyzing right now. Let's see if I can see it. And also, I suppose I should put in, as now I do not have access to the specific publication dates for studies unless they are provided in a detailed context or reference directly. Okay. Oh, okay. So this study that it referenced, this study that it was talking about, was also a hypothetical example and may not correspond to an actual published study. Interesting. Okay, so do you have the name of an actual study that was conducted? I am not interested in receiving a hypothetical example. Hypothetical.
That's weird. Why would ChatGPT produce hypothetical answers?
It might be assuming that I'm looking to create my own study. Okay, it's giving something here. Interesting. Okay, these now it's giving actual studies, I think. We're going to look them up. So one is entitled Effect of Pran Mudra on Cognitive Performance, and it's giving like a date, when it was, where it was published, the authors. This one's got to be real. This one's Effect of Mudras on Automatic Nervous System. autonomic nervous system. Mudras and diabetes management. Okay, let's look at that one. Title is Effect of Yoga Mudra on Blood Glucose Levels in Type 2 Diabetes Patients. The authors are, and it gives 2 authors. Their last names, I'm assuming they're from India, P. Kumar and S. Singh. Published in Journal of Clinical and Diagnostic Research, year 2017. Summary of the study investigates the effect of yoga mudras, including Apan Mudra, on blood glucose levels in patients with type 2 diabetes. Okay, so it probably just assumed that I wanted to like create my own study. It probably didn't realize that I'm going to give ChatGPT the benefit of the doubt. That's why I gave hypothetical examples. Okay. So let's look up this study. Let's see.
If it exists, then this sounds pretty scientific.
Yeah, let's look it up, and then we'll give all the information to ChatGPT. No results found for this. Maybe I just typed in too much information. So let's just do this and that and that. Okay, I think I might have found it. National Institute of Health. Where did it say I could find this? Where did it say it was published in Journal of Clinical and Diagnostic? So let's at least look up that journal as well.
What was it? Clinical Disease of...
Journal of Clinical and Diagnostic Research. Okay, maybe this is it here. Let's open this up and see. Okay. So that's where it just sent me to the conclusion. Effects of yoga on blood glucose levels in patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus. Mellitus? These names don't look the same. Author information. Yeah, these names don't look the same to me. It's got an email address. I could just ask him directly.
Yeah, but what does the study conclude?
The results of the present study demonstrates that the yoga is effective in reducing the blood glucose levels in patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus, whatever that is. T2DM, they refer to it as.
Yeah, that's type 2 diabetes. Diabetes mellitus.
Yeah, I don't know what mellitus means. I've never heard that word before.
Yeah, it's another name for type 2 diabetes.
Okay. I don't know if I should take this as an actual example. There's a lot of information here.
Yeah, but the title only discusses yoga, and it's not specifically mudras.
Yeah, good point. It's not specifically mudras.
Unless it specifies mudra.
Somewhere else in their study. I wonder if I can control F mudras. No, nothing pops up in the document.
So what I'm guessing is ChatGPT has combined 2 or 3 studies and given us the data.
Maybe.
If we are assuming that it is not giving us hypothetical, then that is what it is doing.
Yeah, possibly.
So we can take the name of the scientists, P. Kumar and S. Singh, and let's see.
We could. Like take their names and the title that I was provided. We could and see what pops up. Let's go back to the title. We'll put that in. This is how you get down. That's how you go down a rabbit hole. So effective yoga nidra on blood glucose levels in something, but there's no. There's nothing that's showing. Well, let's just click on this. This is probably the closest one. Effect of Yoga Nidra on blood glucose level in diabetic patients. November 2008. Source PubMed. Authors S. Amita. Their names are not listed here.
We were asking for Mudra, and ChatGPT has given us Yoga Nidra.
No, so I guess because I'm not sharing my screen, so you don't see what's happening. So let me share my screen with you. It's my fault. So let's go to here. Okay, so do you see that? So these are the studies it gave me. Right? Gave us these studies here. So the title of the study, the author, and blah, 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 blah. And so they're all referencing Mudra. But when I search them up on Google, when I try to find these on Google, I'm not finding these on Google anywhere.
Yeah, that's what made me think that they are probably combining 2 or 3 studies.
It could be.
And it could be confused, but maybe we can look up some other study.
What should I look up?
What was the second one?
Yeah, so I've tried looking up. I've tried looking up this one. So you think you want me to try one of the other ones?
I'm thinking we can try the second one because this word autonomic, it is rare. So
yeah, well, this is the actual title here. So autonomic is not used in this title. The effect of Yoga Mudra on heart rate variability and stress.
Or we can ask GPT to refine the results once again and mention that we are only looking for mudra related research.
I'm not finding these studies anywhere. Can you double check that you have the correct titles, authors, and published locations for each of these studies? All right, let's ask it to double check its work. Okay, so it's trying some other examples. It might be the same problem. We might run into exactly the same issue. Okay, so it's giving me links. To find these studies, you can search. Oh, so it's just giving me links to these places generally, but not the actual studies themselves.
Okay, if you see the title of the first one, it seems pretty specific. The effect of yoga hand mudras.
Okay, we can try. Let's try. Let's see what happens. Can you see the search, the Google search?
Yeah. Is the first one relevant? First or second one?
It's not the title. I don't see anything that is the same title. I could put the whole thing in quotations. Oops.
Is it possible that the title on Google is different and the title of the study is different?
Maybe. I have no idea. I'm not sure.
I guess we'll have to leave it for later. Or you want to go deeper and find something?
No, I'm giving up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving up. I give up. Not too easy to find. I mean, I'm sure if we kept at it, we would find something, but It could take a very, very long time. And not that I mind, but I mean, that's the whole purpose of doing this, what we're doing. But
Mm.
I'm not convinced until I have more information.
Yeah, that is where, perplexity is better at times. Remember the
Perplexity?
another A, it gives you the references as well, and it scrapes the live data.
You want me to look at perplexity now?
That is up to you. If you are interested, you can look it up now
No.
or maybe later.
Yeah, I don't want to look it up now. I got
Mm.
I got demotivated.
Yeah, understandable, because after hitting two or three failed attempts, anybody would feel discouraged.
Yeah, I want to do something different. I want to talk about something different now.
Or what's on mind?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea. I got nothing, man. Today I literally have nothing.
Hmm.
We could look up what Canada Day is all about.
But you already mentioned that, right?
Well, I mentioned that it is Canada Day, um, and I also mentioned that I have no clue what it's all about.
Okay, so before looking it up, do you want to guess how it began?
Oh goodness, I got no guesses. Let's see. I'm going to say it probably has something to do with when the country was founded. I don't think that's the right terminology, but when,
Constitution?
well, then they call it Confederation here. But I think there's a Confederation Day. To look that up as well. But I think Canada Day, if I was to guess, I would say it probably has to do with the war between the British and the French that ended maybe on this day or around this day.
Sounds like it, yeah. So that is the day British left Canada.
Well, the British never left. They took, like, so Canada was originally occupied by native people, and the British came here and colonized the land. I think the French might have been here first, or maybe around the same time, and they both wanted to take the land for themselves. And then we're going to double check. We're going to fact check this because this is the story that I'm familiar with, but I could be wrong. So the British and the French had a war to decide who would claim the land for their country. The British won and gave a chunk of the land, a big chunk of the land, actually like one of the biggest provinces, to the French, which is now that province called Quebec. And the rest of the land was, well, the territories, there's two main territories in Canada. Those territories are, from my understanding, like they're part of Canada, of course. But I think maybe the rules or regulations or laws are different in those territories, and I think they're more governed. We're gonna look this up too, but I think they're more governed by the Aboriginal or Inuit or Native people that live there, and then the other provinces, so like British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario, the east coast, so like Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, on the east side of Canada, those are all were, I guess, ruled over by the British. The British claimed rule over that part of the land. We're gonna look this up, but I think maybe the result of all that is like that's what Canada Day is all about. But let's search it. Let's see if my story and my understanding of Canadian history is correct.
Okay. I'm guessing it would be something nearby.
I think that I won't be. I think at the very least I won't be too far off. But it's possible that my memory of these details and these facts is part of it is incorrect or needs correcting. So let's look it up. Let's see. So first, let's search up what is Canada Day? Canada Day, the celebration of. Okay. Canada Day, celebrated on July 1st, makes the anniversary of the Confederation of Canada. Yes, so far I am on the money. On this day in 1867, the British North America Act, now known as the Constitution Act, okay, so it is Constitution Act, okay, you were right about that, united the three separate colonies of the United Province of Canada, New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, into a single dominion within the British Empire called Canada. This act of confederation is seen as the birth of modern Canada. The holiday is a national celebration featuring various festivals, including fireworks, parades, concerts, barbecues, and other patriotic events across the country. Okay, so yes, so let's go into some of the other facts. So I was right about this for the most part. Tell me a bit about what happened when the British were colonizing Canada. Okay. Here we go. All right. The colonization of Canada by the British was a complex process that unfolded over several centuries and involved significant interactions with the indigenous peoples, as well as conflicts with other European powers, primarily the French. Here's an overview of key events and phases in British colonization of Canada. Early contact and initial colonization, 16th and 17th century. Early exploration, British explorers like John Cabot, maybe it's Cabot because he was British, not French. So John Cabot, Giovanni Caboto were among the first Europeans to explore the Canadian coastline in the late 15th century. Settlement attempts. The British made several early attempts to establish colonies, including the short-lived settlement at Roanoke Island. I don't know where that is. However, it was the French who first established a significant European presence in Canada with settlements like Quebec City, 1608. The struggle for control, 17th to 18th century. Hudson's Bay Company. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Hudson's Bay, but pretty big company. Chartered in 1670, the Hudson's Bay Company established trading posts in the interior, leading to a network of fur trading routes and competition with French traders. Intermittent conflicts. Throughout the 17th and early 18th century, Britain and France were frequently at war, with their North American colonies often caught in the middle. These conflicts included Queen Anne's War, 1702 to 1713, and King George's War, 1744 to 1748. The 7 Years' War, 1756 to 1763. Major conflict. The 7 Years' War, known as the French and Indian War in North America, which it wasn't Indian, it was the natives, I would imagine, was a global conflict that decisively shaped the future of Canada. Oh, it's a global conflict. Okay. British victory. The British captured the key French strongholds, including Quebec City and Montreal, effectively ending French colonial rule in Canada. Treaty of Paris. The war concluded with the Treaty of Paris, which ceded control of New France, including Canada, to Britain. Interesting. New France being Quebec, essentially. Consolidation and expansion, which was the late 18th to 19th century. Royal Proclamation of 1763. This proclamation sought to stabilize relations with indigenous peoples by restricting European settlement west of the Appalachian Mountains and recognizing indigenous land rights. American Revolution. During and after the American Revolution, 1775 to 1783, many loyalists, colonists loyal to the Britain Crown, migrated to Canada, significantly increasing the British population in regions like Nova Scotia and Quebec. Constitutional Act of 1791. This act divided Quebec into Upper Canada, predominantly English-speaking, and Lower Canada, predominantly French-speaking, to better accommodate the cultural differences. Confederation and nation building, 19th century. War of 1812. The conflict between the United States and Britain had significant impacts on Canada, fostering a sense of Canadian identity and unity among diverse groups. Rebellions of 1837 to 1838. Discontent with colonial governance led to uprisings in Upper and Lower Canada, which prompted the British to enact reforms. Act of Union, 1840. This act united Upper and Lower Canada into the province of Canada, creating a more centralized government. Confederation, 1867. The British North America Act united the colonies of Canada, Ontario and Quebec, New Brunswick and Nova Scotia into the Dominion of Canada, granting significant self-governance while remaining part of the British Empire. Okay. And then it goes into also impact on indigenous people. Yeah. So maybe the last question is why is Canada separated into provinces and territories? Okay. So the provinces have their original origins in the colonies established by European powers, primarily the British and the French. The initial provinces were formed through a series of acts and agreements, such as the British North American Act of 1867, which united Ontario and Quebec, North Africa, blah, blah, blah. We already know that. As Canada expanded westward and northward, new provinces were created. The territories are typically areas not originally settled by European colonists to the same extent as the provinces. These regions were administered directly by the federal government due to their smaller populations and the logistical challenges of governing such vast, sparsely populated areas. Okay. Territories are located in the northern part of Canada, characterized by harsher climates, lower population densities, and more remote communities. The vast distances and unique challenges of these regions made centralized federal administration more practical. Okay. All right. Yeah, and it goes into more detail about all that. So it was actually more about the fact that they were hard to govern over those areas because they are large. I mean, basically, if you were to look at a map, in like more than half of the northern part of Canada are the territories. Like if you separate Canada into like a northern section, like put a line directly in the middle, northern section, and then southern section, more than that divided line, you'd have to bring that line down a bunch, and that would cover like all the like the territories. And it's like Northwest Territories it's called, and then Yukon. And then none of it is another territory and super small. Northwest Territories is massive. It's a huge piece of land. It like you know, I'm not sure if you've ever seen the map, but it kind of goes out like this, Canada.
Yeah.
So over here is like Quebec and all the like Nova Scotia is really small. Prince Edward Island is a little island, of course. Like those are really small areas. And then Quebec takes a big chunk of this section over here. And then you got all the provinces at the bottom. And then the Northwest Territories goes along almost the entire top strip, with Yukon kind of being here. And then there's Alaska up there, which is part of the U.S., right? But then there's Yukon. And then the Northwest Territories like kind of goes all the way across.
So smaller regions and provinces are bigger regions.
Yeah, like if I go to maybe I can pull up the map for you so you can see. So let's go to Google Maps.
I think Google,
Google Maps.
maybe you can look up a political map of Canada. That would be much clearer. It will have that color combination.
Well, it'll still be pretty easy to see. I'll show you. Okay, so let's see. We got to share the screen with you. Share screen. Here we go. Start sharing. Okay, can you see this?
Yeah. So
So this is Canada. All this part, this is the separating line between Canada and the United States right here. So here's Ontario. This is the place where I live, this province. Here's Quebec, pretty big piece of land. All that's Quebec. Newfoundland and Labrador starts here and is also over here, this area. This is Prince Edward Island over here, I believe. This. Yes, Newfoundland. Is that Prince? No, Prince Edward Island is over here. Sorry, my bad. This is Prince Edward Island. I guess this must be part of Quebec. Or is it part of New Brunswick? I'm not sure. Here's New Brunswick, but it's small areas. New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia. These are all separate provinces. This belongs to all this up here. Quebec. I'm not sure which province this island belongs to. I'm going to guess Quebec, but I could be wrong. Ontario. Okay. So here is Manitoba, this area. Saskatchewan, Alberta. This is Alberta, goes down like this. And then this is British Columbia. And now here is the Northwest Territories, all this area over here, this big chunk of land. And then here's Yukon, just over here. I'm not sure if you can see that dotted line, but it kind of goes like this and up like this. And here's Alaska over here.
Yeah.
And this is Yukon Territory, and then the Northwest Territories, all this chunk over here. And then this is none of it. Okay, none of it is actually a bigger chunk than I thought. I thought it was smaller, but I guess it's all this. And these are known as the Baffin Islands. And this is also all part of Canada, like all this stuff up here.
Now, interestingly, this Alaska and US border, they are exactly a straight line.
Yeah. So this was established to because of Russia being right here. So it was agreed to. I can look this up too. But I'm pretty sure Canada and the U.S. came to an agreement to allow the U.S. to have control over this land for a means of defending borders because of Russia being right next door.
Yeah, so they kind of bought the land from Canada.
Yeah.
So we can, that is why that is a straight line. But what about the horizontal line, the border between US and Canada?
What about it?
How did it come to be so straight?
Well, I don't think it is straight. I think there is actually a place. I remember learning about this. There is a place, I don't remember exactly where it is, somewhere maybe in here, where it's like it is a U.S. is part of the United States, but it's not. You'd have to like go out of that area, and then you'd be in Canada, and then you can cross the border as well back into the United States. I don't remember exactly where it is.
Or that belongs to US.
Yeah, it's like there's a couple little. I think there's like I don't know if there's how many spots there are, but I think there's. I know there's for sure one. I just don't remember where it is. So, but yeah, I mean, it's mostly just a straight line. And I guess there just would have had to have been agreements in place. Like I know Lake Ontario, part belongs to the United States, and part of it belongs to Canada. Like all of these are called the Great Lakes. So all these Great Lakes, you can see the line that goes through them. Part of the Great Lakes belongs to the U.S. and part is Canada. I don't know how they established that, but I imagine because they were both under British rule, it was probably pretty easy at the time.
Yeah, but that's something that is confusing me. Because if it is exactly a straight line, then you would have to know the map exactly, the location, GPS, etc. And that was all invented much later, like after 1950s.
Yeah, I don't know. We could look that up. I know there are parts where there's not like an actual border crossing. So you could just like if you're in these areas, I'm pretty sure there are some like pretty remote areas where it's just forest. And there's like no towns or anything, or very limited towns, right? Like this is just a trail. There's no Little Snowy Top Lookout. That's interesting. So it might be pretty easy to kind of travel back and forth between the border here. I don't know how they separate it. I mean, I'm just zooming all the way in and there's nothing. Just a creek.
And interestingly, that creek ends at the border.
Yeah, maybe like some of this was decided that way, right? I don't know. Let's look at this place here. There's no information. Okay. Anyways, yeah, pretty interesting stuff for sure. Yeah, I don't know how it was decided.
What if Canada is not even a country? What if it is a big conspiracy?
What's the conspiracy?
Like it's a part of United States, but it is shown to be uh, a separate country.
Maybe. I mean, I think that there's a lot to that in terms of influence. There's a lot of influence that the United States has over decisions that are made in Canada, for sure. And there's, I mean, the partnership goes back, since the countries were incepted. So, yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of influence over Canada from the United States, but there's also at least there was plenty of influence over Canada from the monarchy, the British monarchy as well. So yeah, the interesting thing too about this area is as these ice caps melt more and more, there are many areas where ships could not cross. Like in order to get, let's say, from this spot over here to this spot over here, it would be very treacherous to cross through these parts of these islands over here. It's just, unless it's like certain times of the year, perhaps I'm guessing. But now with this ice melting more and more, there's more reason for there to be there's like basically passageways that open up for shipping to happen back and forth. But then, of course, if there's going to be the ability to use these areas like to an increased amount, then there's been a lot of discussion over who would control this area. Like whether it be United States, Canada, and Russia also would like to control these areas too. So I could see sometime in the future there being some sort of war over this land, because whoever controls it can determine. It's like anything else. Like if you want to use, my area to ship products back and forth, you got to pay like a tariff or a tax, right? To use our waterways. So, yeah.
It would become a dock or something.
Yeah.
And you have to pay for that.
Yeah, it might be quite competitive. Like who controls that area to determine that, and who's policing it.
Also, it is a shortcut to Europe, so definitely there will be some fight.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting. Anyways, my man Amit, I think that's it for today.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it
So
up.
today we India about just two things. One is Canada Day and the Mudras.
Well, I also put scientific studies in there too, but I guess we could, yeah, I think we're talking a little bit of that too, and using this idea of scientific studies in relation to mudras for sure, but I kind of separated it.
Okay. So you wanna make scientific research as the third part.
Yeah, scientific studies, yeah.
Sure.
Why
Or
not?
scientific methodology.
We could. Sure. Why not? All right. Done and done. Got it. All right. Well, let's see how this week goes with our challenge, with our challenges. We'll report on it to
Yeah,
each other next time.
sure. And should we do something to make it more likely to succeed?
Hmm. What can we do? I don't know. What can we do that make it more likely that we'll actually do it? I think we're just holding each other accountable because we're going to check up on each other. And there's going to be an expectation that we made at least some progress.
Mm. And if one does, then the other one kind of has to do it.
Well, I think if one person doesn't do it, then the other one has kind of more of an excuse as to why they didn't do it.
Yeah, it can cut both ways. Yeah.
Because if you do it and I didn't, then I'm going to look bad.
To no viewers.
To the 0 people that watch this. All right. So
Yep.
let's see what we do. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what happens. Let's give each other another week,
Another-
and we'll go from there. Cool.
Cool. Yeah.
All
So
right.
see you next Tuesday and au revoir.
Namaste.
Bye.
See ya.